Good morning.
Good morning.
Here we are, back after a 3-month break.
I think even longer than that, isn't it?
June, I think it was.
Yeah,
Now it's September.
it is September.
And the
Autumn
world
fall.
has got even stranger, if that was possible.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, well, we're going to go straight into sharing some music, which is the healing force of the nation.
Or the universe, as Albert Einstein said.
Of the universe. Yeah, not just the nation, everybody. Okay, well, last time John was here, he gave me a birthday present, which was this album. Gwigwi Murabi, I think is the name, and I'm not sure. Can you pronounce that title, John?
I think that's not bad.
No, but the actual album title.
No.
No.
I think it's Bamalanga. I think the M's silent.
Okay. This is South African township music from the late 60s, featuring a mix of South African and... Is Laurie Allen from England?
No, he's actually from South Africa.
Oh, he's actually...
Yeah, I always thought he was British as well.
All South African musicians. Yeah, great music. We listened to a track entitled Mara, M-R-A, which had kind of a bit of an Ethiopian vibe to it, actually. And yeah, Chris McGregor's on here, Duda Bakwana, Ronnie Beer, and Gwigwi Murabi himself on alto sax. Just fantastic, short, joyful tunes that will have you humming along within seconds. Yeah, just great music.
He's got the first Brotherhood of Breath, Chris McGregor's Brotherhood of Breath album. There's a longer version of MRA on that, actually, as well. Or Mara, I'm not sure. I think it's a word, actually. I think you were right, Mark, actually. It's not a... And then we went from South Africa to Pharaoh Sanders, and I played an extract from Black Unity, which is a very long 38-minute piece. Played the last section of this. Again, kind of the vibe is very, very hot on this record, and some amazing bass playing from both Stanley Clarke and Cecil McBee as well, anchoring the whole thing as well. This is probably one of the most popular Pharaoh records. It's kind of, they're all kind of funky in their own ways, but this one's probably the funkiest of all of them, I think. And this is the reissue that came out, but my copy was knackered, to put it brand in my old copy, so it's good to get a new version of this as well.
And we thought maybe an uncredited Alice Coltrane.
Yeah, there's a harmonium all the way through. A lot of reviewers have thought it was a synthesizer, but it's not. It's actually a harmonium going on in the background. And there's also, towards the end, a koto as well, which is also uncredited.
We moved on to a Kenny Barron album entitled Lucifer, which had a sort of, actually sounded more traditional, some more traditional kind of electric jazz into that kind of funk early 70s vibe, which featured people like Charles Sullivan on the trumpet, Carlos Alomar on the guitar, sounding great actually, Billy Hart on drums. Kenny Barron was on keyboards. Yeah, and we listened to the track entitled Spirits, which is quite a long tune, 9 minutes I noticed.
Kenny Barron's a great piano player. Kind of died not so long ago, actually. I mean, it was kind of, he was one of those, there was so many great piano players around that time, people like Stanley Cowell, Kenny Barron and George Cables. They never really got a lot of credit at the time. They were fantastic players as well. So bang up to date, we go for James Brandon Lewis, who's been one of my obsessions really from the last 6 months or so. Just really came to him very, very late in the day, kind of shamefully late in the day, really. His music's fantastic. Both his acoustic quartet and this trio he's got with Chad Smith and Chad Taylor and Josh Werner, who's all playing electric bass. And this is kind of this is a tune called "Remembering Brooklyn and Moki," which is obviously credited a tribute to Don Cherry, and the album title is actually a tribute to Mara Baraka, Leroy Jones as well. And it's a great album, actually, really, really good. All his stuff. I mean, I've just been diving into all his music, and it's absolutely fantastic. So, highly recommended. Saxophone player with a really beautiful tone as well. Sounds very relaxed kind of style he's got as well, but playing a lot of really good stuff.
Well, one of my recent obsessions is this guy, who's actually not at all even mentioned on the cover. Ski Mask. and this is the third album I've got from Ski Mask. This one is entitled Resort, and it came out 2024, came out last year. Double album on the Ilian Tape record label, and the guy behind Ski Mask is German, and he's really into analog synths. He's also really into vinyl, so I think, got a feeling this album actually is not available digitally, or certainly isn't on streaming services. But we listened to a track called Nostalglitch, and just such fascinating textures of synths and kind of little snatches of drums that, the whole album kind of builds from the first side right through to the end. I really recommend Ski Mask, SKEEMASK. Quite uncategorizable apart from the kind of warmth of the sonics.
Massive sound.
Sounded fantastic on the speakers here.
We're going to see Tortoise in November, coming to London, and this played the first Seneca track off Standards, which is the third of, for me, what is their best run of albums from TNT, Takes a Nation, and this one. Absolutely fantastic, really. And I'm talking about uncategorizable. This one starts off like a heavy. I remember getting this album thinking I've got the wrong album, because it starts off like a really very distorted metal album or something rather, and then goes into something else altogether. Anyway, so we're very excited about seeing them.
Yes.
Coming to the Barbican in November.
Yeah, I'm going to mention, not that we played any, but I did see Noah a few days ago in Coco in London, with the 7-piece horn section, which is Lewis Cole and Genevieve Artadia's outfit, I should say. Also, just stunning. If they are anywhere near you, highly recommended. Okay, this is a newish. I think came out maybe last year. This is the bass player, singer, guitarist Rosie Plain. She is also part of the band This Is the Kit, a band I've discovered again recently, and had an opportunity to play in a double bass setup with Rosie fairly recently. This is a lovely album. It's very much the Total Refreshment Centre kind of set of collaborators, so people like Danalog and Alabaster de Plume. We listened to the track called Spot 13, very original music. And
the video with Mark playing with Rosie will be on
State 51
website at some point in the future. So maybe you can post an update.
I could do.
Yeah. So very important to remember, since the last time we met, a lot of people have passed away, and one of those was Brian Wilson. And weirdly, I just got a kind of a new copy of, this is one of my favourite Beach Boys albums, Surfer Girl, a couple of weeks before he passed away, so kind of sadly. But Played in My Room, which is one of my favourite songs of all time. I think of the absolutely gorgeous record as well.
It sounded absolutely
it sounded nice to have a pristine copy of it.
Yeah, beautiful. I have a lot of records here, and I think pretty much since COVID, I've been trying to prune a little bit. I still buy loads, but I was going through a few 12 inches a couple of days ago, and was listening to the Alita Adams, produced by I think by the Tears for Fears guys. Anyway, and when William Orbit's part of this as well, Roland Orzabal and Dave Bascom, it's just a massive, completely over-the-top 1990 production, but it's a great tune, and it sounded absolutely enormous. The bass on it was just really giving my speakers a good workout. So Rhythm of Life, Alita Adams.
So for something that sounds massive to something that sounds weirdly small, but actually still very, very funky. I haven't played Crystal Ball all the way through, the Prince triple set that was available from him years and years ago now, for a long time. But just kind of listened to it a while ago. There's some great music on here, actually. I mean, it's a lot of different stuff from different periods. Very funny sleeve notes, I think written by Prince as well, quite a lot of the time as well. And I played Make Your Mama Happy off this, which is him. Prince says it was him listening to Sly's Fresh over and over again as well. And it's got this weirdly kind of almost like a tinny sound to it, but incredibly incredibly funky track, and there's a lot of real. If you get a chance to get it, but like, it's hard to get hold of this now. But if you get a chance to get hold of a copy of this, some great music hidden away in there as well.
Completely original.
Yeah.
Well, this, I have to say, the best thing about this is the cover. This is the keyboard player. She's Himiko Kikuchi. And the album is entitled Flying Beagle. It's some very kind of shiny late 80s Jap jazz fusion, I would say. John was telling me a story about seeing a big band that featured Himiko, who's a female keyboard player. There's some okay music on here. It's extremely expensive, so it feels almost more buying it because it's going to be worth something to sell later on, which is not normally what I do, but I'm enjoying the cover a lot. But the cover was not worth what I paid for it, I have to say.
Mark won't even disclose how much.
I won't even disclose how much it was.
I remember seeing Bingo Mickey or Bingo Mikey, a band in France at a festival back in the late 80s, and they were incredibly bombastic. It was like kind of, they sounded like kind of Stan Kenton band on ketamine or something. It was completely, totally over. Maybe ketamine's the wrong one actually, but, or maybe on coke or something. It sounded completely over the top, and the audience didn't respond at all. It was quite weird actually. Anyway, so from another CD actually. This guy is somebody I've been absolutely obsessed with in the last few months. So Pedro Martins, who's a Brazilian guitarist who plays a lot with, we talked about Noah earlier, plays a lot with both Lewis Cole and is very much associated with Genevieve Attardi as well. This is an album on Kurt Rosenwinkel's Hardcore Records and features a lot of great people in it, like Thundercat and JD. What's his name?
Not JD Vance.
Not JD Vance. Features JD Vance on vocals, absolutely. No, the other guy, JD Beck, thankfully. And it's kind of weird, very strange record. It's kind of poppy, almost like sounds like Brazilian MPB style pop, and then breaks into these incredible kind of fusion sections as well. He's a fantastic. It also has Eric Clapton guesting on one track, slightly strangely as well. But yeah, really good stuff. Unfortunately, halfway through the track, Mark's stereo system had a kind of breakdown. But anyway, definitely recommend. Very hard to get, almost impossible to get on CD. I had to get this from Japan, but you can get the download from Bandcamp, and it sounds just as good, actually, to be quite honest as well. So look out for him. He's already becoming a bit of a star, and I think he's going to get bigger and bigger as well.
I think it was just speaker connections we just.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
This Heptones album, Heptones on Top, I notice has just been reissued. This is an earlier copy that I've already had. Classic Studio One, beautiful ethereal harmonies, fantastic rhythms. We listened to Heptones Gonna Fight, a wonderful album, highly recommended. Yeah, pick up the reissue, it looks nice.
They're always kind of you can always tell Heptones track by it's like the second layer of background vocals behind it. Absolutely gorgeous stuff. Played the Mighty Diamonds, Gates of Zion, which came out. It was on Green Sleeves in 1980, right at the end really of when roots reggae started to merge into kind of more digital sounding stuff. And you got this is got backed up by Sly and Robbie, who also kind of co-produced it as well. Just a great track, really great singing on it as well. And some squashy sounding syndromes in the background.
Yeah, well. Just kind of quite strange production.
Yeah, it is. Nice. Yeah.
Lighter.
And a very early coloured vinyl, I think, a sort of blue vinyl.
There was a lot of coloured vinyl in the late 70s, 80s. Yeah. Okay, this is a track that I had before. It's originally came out on Jar Shaka's label. This is Ras Imru Asha and a track entitled Marshall, which has on the B-side Warrior Style, which is the dub version, which is the one that we listened to, which was real classic late 70s or possibly early 80s, a sort of UK steppers reggae, designed to be heard on an enormous sound system, but available through Ras Imru Asha's Bandcamp. So I believe there's still some 12 inches available now, but a great tune.
for those of you who weren't around town, going to see Jai Shaka even up to quite recently when he passed away was like going to church almost. Really. It was like often a biannual event. Then we had a break and then came back. This is going to be a tricky one to show, isn't it? Came back with Gary Burton's new quartet, which is the band he briefly put together in between his band with Larry Coryell and the band with that came along with Pat Metheny, featuring the first appearance on record, as far as I can tell, from Abe Laboriel, the bass player from Mexico. Sounding fantastic.
Indeed.
And played his version of Open Your Eyes, You Can Fly, which is a Chick Corea song that was also covered by Flora Purin and other people as well.
Was it a Return to Forever song?
Yes, and them as well. And the Flora Purin features incredible bass playing from Al Johnson, of course, as well, that whole intro. So anyway, this album was reissued as part of, this is an OG, but the album was reissued as part of reissues Sept by ECM a couple of years ago as well. Really good stuff. Actually.
Very un-ECM sound.
Very un-ECM, yeah.
So that inspired me to talking about Bright Side's life. This was the first Pat Metheny album I ever got. Pat Metheny and Lyle Mays, As Falls Wichita, So Wichita Falls. And we listened to nearly about 2/3 of the first side, which is just a whole 20-minute, 44-second piece of music. And just noting how the kind of symbiotic relationship between, well, it's just three musicians, basically, isn't it? It's Lyle, Pat, and Nana Vasconcelos. Just sort of really quite cinematic, and no one's really soloing. It's just all really interesting sounds melding and evolving. So if you don't know this album, you're in for a treat. It doesn't really sound like anything else they ever did.
No, not really at all. I mean, there are elements of it, I guess, in the group, but it never. That's kind of much more kind of fluid, I think, than the group ever were. Kind of then went to contemporary Los Angeles, and I mean, it's kind of, there's so much good music coming out of Los Angeles at the moment, and this is a trio of Sam Wilkes on bass, Craig Weinrib on drums, and Dylan Day, who's a guitarist. I don't think he's from a jazz or kind of funk background at all. He comes from a folk background. We heard a track called When I Read My Titles Clear. Very, very peaceful. The whole record is incredibly quiet, very peaceful, very beautiful music, actually. And it's on Leaving Records as well.
And Sam Wilkes was playing with Noah on Thursday. That wasn't particularly peaceful.
No, that's right.
There was moments, but it was mostly pretty intense. Well, this is an album that both John and I have bought. Did you bring it to the session?
No, I didn't actually. I thought
you knew I would have it. This is the new Pino Palladino Blake Mills collaboration entitled That Wasn't a Dream. And just part two of this incredible sounding, actually, collaboration. The production is just something else. A number of guest players, people like Chris Dave, Sam Gendel on it. I mean, highly recommended, and the vinyl sounds wonderful.
Amazing.
Actually.
Just incredible sounding record, really.
Yeah.
And they're not coming to the UK. They're coming to they come to the UK, but they're going to Wales and not coming to London. Very annoyed about that. Again, looking kind of towards the LA end of things, Danny Villarreal played his Lados, basically side B record, which is great, actually. We played it quite a lot on sessions before, I think, actually. This is the first one he recorded for International Anthem, which is called Panama 77. It includes the trio with Jeff Parker and Anna Butters, but also includes some other kind of lineups on it as well. And it's just a great record, really. Just really nicely put together. Different lineups on each track, actually, so it's not the same as the second release. But really enjoyable. And he's a great drummer, and by all accounts, a really great kind of all-round organizer and figure in Los Angeles as well. International Anthem kind of knocking out.
It looks a bit like Don Was for some reason.
Yeah, he's definitely got a look.
Yeah,
you can tell he's from Panama, I think.
Yeah, the hat's a bit of a giveaway.
The giveaway. But yeah, really good stuff.
I was just thinking, of course, Pino Palladino's from Wales, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
So
absolutely.
maybe that might explain.
He's actually from Cardiff. Yeah.
There we go. That's right. Yeah. So in the last couple of days, we heard of the passing of a DJ entitled Chris Hill, who was very much part of this sort of soul mafia of DJs that were around in the late 70s, a little bit into the early 80s. Very kind of influential in breaking a lot of like UK, but also, I mean, American and kind of supporting a lot of UK jazz funk bands. And yeah, there's been quite a lot of talk about him. He broke a number of tracks. This was a big tune for him. This was Billy Paul's Bring the Family Back that you would hear if you went to Caister Weekenders or the Lacy Lady in, was that in Southgate? Oh, in Essex or something.
Essex,
Not that I ever went there. Although I did see Chris Hill once in Exeter at an all-dayer with Froggy. And
Froggy had an enormous sound system.
Froggy sound system.
Yeah.
Bizarrely, this was actually a not very nice sounding 12-inch.
That's right.
Even though it's, you know, you'd think it was good. It had just kind of a bit of a weird mastering sound. Great tune.
Another slightly weird sounding record.
Yes.
Although it's a great actually great album. This, and I'm desperate to find an OG of this at some point or other. I think it's fantastic. But yeah, the Tom Brock record, which was produced by Barry White and arranged by Barry White and Gene Paul. But it's got a very harsh sounding remaster. That's surprising, but it's actually usually, I mean, they usually do quite a good job at can't remember who did it now. Anyway, never mind. But yeah, great record. If you can find an original, don't buy it. Tell me where it is. And I can.
Great tune.
Yeah.
Great production. And yeah, there's a tune that gets played later on.
Yeah.
I was convinced was Barry White, but it wasn't. 30 years since this album came out, which is slightly, I guess, linked in with our Chris Hill conversation, and Incognito, I think, brought out an album entitled Jazz Funk in about 1979 or something. But this is an album that came out, I believe...
Talking Loud.
Yeah, 1995, Talking Loud. We listened to an instrumental track called Jacob's Ladder, which sounded absolutely fantastic. Yeah, Incognito, 100 Degrees and Rising was the name of the album. And I know Louis is not in the best of health, but he has an incredible band, and I did see them play live at Ronnie Scott's a couple of years ago. They do sort of extended runs, 10 nights, 2 shows a night. Wonderful experience to see them. I took the whole family, and it was very good.
Sounded great. I had that record in my selling pile, so I'm going to take it out when I get home. Definitely. So this is the one that Mark thought was, and understandably, thought it was Barry White when it started off. This is a Herbie Hancock 12-inch, Stars in Your Eyes, the massively extended version of the song that's on Monster. And it's just a great groove, really. Actually. It's very simple but beautifully produced, great sounding, and vocals from Gavin Christopher.
I thought it was either Barry White or Isaac Hayes.
That's right. I mean, Monster's not the greatest Herbie Hancock album. There's a track called Saturday Night, which is pretty good on there as well, with Carlos Santana. But this is a great track.
Absolutely, yeah, just lush. And this followed beautifully, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is 114 beats per minute. I don't know what that was, but this was also in my cell pile.
Not that we had a load of dancers in the room.
No, we didn't. Not that we were counting the BPMs, but I had counted them.
At least not ones we could see, anyway.
This is Womack and Womack, Cecil and Linda Womack, and a track that came out on 4th and Broadway, probably in the late 80s, called Life's Just a Ball Game. And this is the ballroom remix, and just a really kind of joyous rhythm, and wonderful vocals, and just a great vibe, and just a nice balm for the troubled times. Actually sounded great. So yeah.
It did feel like it was coming from another world. That track, actually. They were great to see live as well. They got very big in the UK for 2 or 3 years, and then changed their names, actually, and had a whole new career under their African names as well afterwards. But yeah, very good live. And from Womack and Womack to just Womack, basically, from the album Safety Zone. Played the classic tune, I think something you can get for free, produced by James Gadsden, and featuring a great range of musicians.
Because I thought it was James Gadsden on the drums, on the other track.
And yeah, a good, not one of his, this has got a very, very long track featuring Herbie Hancock on it, a 10-minute jam with the Headhunters on there as well, which is called I Got a Groove Going On, which gets a little bit tiresome after a time, actually. It's a odd choice. Suddenly appears in the middle of one side A, side one. Have you ever heard that track?
I've got that album. I can't remember that
It's got
track.
a huge long track in the middle of
With Paul Jackson on bass.
Yeah.
Um, this was a reissue. All the Steely Dan albums are being reissued, and I've never managed to find a copy that has a decent sounding, uncrackly version of the Royal Scam until now. So if you don't have this album, absolutely essential. We listened to The Fez, which again sounded superb.
I was lucky enough to get there was one pressing of on one version of Royal Scam, which was meant to be the best one, and I got it by complete fluke, basically, as well.
I think I've had probably 4 versions.
I think I've had it as well, yeah. Another thing that's been reissued recently is that in a deluxe form is Frank Zappa's One Size Fits All, which is probably a lot of people, including mine's favourite Frank Zappa album. This is actually not the original, not the reissue. It's a kind of intermediate version. Sounds great though. And played the classic track off here, which is Inca Roads, of course, featuring George Duke and on keyboards and vocals.
Absolutely.
It's an amazing sounding record. This is the thing. Frank Zappa was very depressed that he put a huge amount of work into it. I mean, he puts a lot of work into everything he does, but put a massive amount of work into this record in terms of mixing it, splicing in different versions of different tracks, and it never got promoted properly by Warner Recrees at the time. That was his last straw, I think, in terms of working with major labels after that.
Yeah, incredible. As is this album, which is Joni Mitchell's Mingus album. In Memory of Charlie Mingus came out in 1979, and we listened to The Dry Cleaner from Des Moines, which has just some wonderful Jacko bass playing and some amazing Wayne Shorter sax playing.
Yeah. There's a great interview with Joni recently where she was talking about bass players, and she goes through all the bass players she worked with. I'm incredibly knowledgeable about everything, really, Joni. And she said that there's one bass player she could have invented. It was Jacko, basically. Then went for the VSOP quartet, which is Herbie again, actually, quintet again, featuring Herbie Hancock, of course, Freddie Hubbard, Wayne Shorter, Ron Carter, and Tony Williams. And played, the amazing fast version of Red Clay off here, which has got some absolutely explosive drumming from Tony Williams.
Stadium jazz.
Stadium jazz. But basically Tony Williams, by this time, was playing his big orange drum kit as well, but he brought that into a kind of acoustic jazz setting. This band were playing huge audiences in Japan, really. It was kind of like a moment, really, that kind of faded away after a time. But yeah, great. There's 3 records with that recorded in Japan with this lineup, 2 live ones and 1 studio one, all definitely worth getting.
And another Japanese obi strip. I've got a feeling I might have even shared this album last time. We listened to a different tune, a much more ballady track. The energy had got very high and it was getting quite late. So we listened to a track entitled Speak Low from the Roy Hargrove Quintet Ear Food album, which, again, beautifully recorded, wonderful music.
Only available in Japan.
Only available in Japan.
Keeping with the same instrumentation, went for Tomasz Stanko, who was a Polish trumpeter who died a few years ago. This is with his band, with the 3 younger Polish musicians. Very quiet, meditative, beautiful music, actually, and played his track Song for Sarah off that, and also told Mark a story that I won't repeat.
Fair enough.
This was a recent issue of some older recordings from ECM as well, and a great sounding record. Yeah, if I tell you we'd get taken down or something.
Doubt it, but you never know. At this stage, I played John a couple of exclusive tracks recorded in a shed in Brixton, which I can't share at this stage, but maybe one day.
I think you should share. I think I should share them on this channel in between videos, I think.
Maybe we should.
Get the stuff out there. It's really good music.
Yeah. And then John ended the session with this next artist who I got to see live, actually.
Yeah, who's Breacher Campbell, you pronounce her name, even though it looks completely unpronounceable on them. I think we might have featured her in a video ages and ages ago, or maybe not, actually, but this is from her. She's a Scottish small pipes player, and basically plays solo, but with some enhancements and using sometimes some looping electronic effects as well. And she's just extraordinary, I think. Really beginning to kind of make a name for herself as well, finally, although she's been around for quite a while now as well. And it's just very difficult music to describe. I mean, it kind of, again, we were talking about the kind of prevalence of a lot of droney sounding music at the moment, which just seems to make a sense somehow or other. Has a kind of leveling out kind of vibe to it as well. And the album is called Sunwise, and nice recording. And she's I think she's starting to tour outside the UK, touring the States this year, I think, and Europe as well. So definitely catch her out if you can. I've never seen her live actually, but she was good. Yeah.
Minimal, not exactly a stage show.
No, no dancers.
No. But we're watching, just sort of staring up at the clouds. Actually,
Yeah, I
just
think
being
that's
immersed in the music.
It's definitely cloud stereo music. I think.
Yeah. Anyway, there we go. Hopefully, we'll definitely be back before the
Hopefully
end of the
be
year.
back. It's getting to the stage now. We'll actually be back again.
Yes. Well, keep looking after everybody, each other.
Yeah.
And keep listening to the good vibrations.
Music's very important.
And share them with people.
Definitely as well.
And don't forget to listen to our shows.
Absolutely, yeah.
Links below.
Yeah. My 200th coming up next week.
Congratulations, John. And I'm going to say hello to the Kotat kid.
Good, and I'm going to say hello to Anna Paula
There we go.
in Colorado.
All right. See you soon.